The brush tool has been enhanced in Animate, and I'm just going to walk you through some of the ways you can control the brush now. So, with the brush selected in the Properties panel, you'll see I have a cool slider for selecting the size of the brush. And not only that, I have a slider for setting the minimum size of the brush. And now when I draw, I'm making good use of what pressure sensitivity. So if I increase the size of the brush, and play around with the minimum size of the brush, you can see how that plays an effect on the stroke. And so what I want to do is I'm going to turn on object drawing mode. And I'm going to mix a little bit of transparency into this black color. I'm going to do this because I'm just sketching out something fast. Kind of draw this way, and I'm going to sketching something. So let's just create a character. And this is for me with the transparency mixed in. It kind of gives that nice feel of like using a pencil. Especially when you have the combination of alpha and object drawing mode on. You can see the layering of transparency. So I've got a nice little character roughed out here. And so what I would like to do is actually go and create on frame 2 a blank keyframe. I'm just going to hit F7 and then turn on the onion skin, and now I can see a ghost on my image. I'm going to do sort of a cleanup version of this drawing. I'm going to remove the alpha transparency. I like the brush size of 8 with the minimum size of 0. And if I want to save this, I can just click this little plus sign here. And that saves this as a preset. I continue to press the plus button. And these will be saved as and use them later just by clicking on them. And now I'm going to redraw and clean up my drawing in frame 2. I'm going to turn off object drawing and do everything in this one frame. I might make a few design changes along the way, but for the most part, I'm going to just stick to the drawing at hand as we have it. So now what I want to do is make sure the brush is selected, which it is, and the sub selection tool, instead of painting normal as you will see here, I'm going to select paint behind. I'm going to make a pretty big brush. I'm just going to actually freehand paint this. And by choosing paint under, it's painting underneath the existing stroke. And then again, with the brush tool selected, the selection tool that we want to use is paint inside. And what this is going to allow me to do is, once I click down on the existing fill color, wherever I paint, it's only going to paint inside that fill color. So this is a nice, handy, quick way to add some shadows and shading to characters. And now let's mix a little color for her eyes. And while this is selected, let's add a little bit of depth to her eyes. Again, brush tool. I'm going to paint inside just like that. Let's mix in a nice dark brown. Maybe a little bit of red in there. Make a nice big brush. Let's make sure we are painting behind. Now we can be pretty loose. Now let's add a little bit of depth of her hair. So let's make some highlights. Just mix a lighter version of that. Brush tool is selected. Let's say let's paint inside as our sub selection. Actually, here's another cool sub selection feature. If we select the brush, let's choose as the sub selection, paint selection, and then select just the hair feel. Now, whatever we paint, we will only paint inside the color that is selected. At this time, I'm going to go back to paint inside. So what I'm going to do is select this shape, hold down Shift and select a little bit more of that fill. Grab the paintbrush tool. Then I'm going to choose as my sub selection paint selection. Now I can draw her eyebrows in without worrying of an overlapping. The line of her hair right there. And that's just some of the ways you can use the brush tool to draw or paint inside of Animate.